Hello, welcome to Missing the Point. My name is Reverend Mike, and I'm here in this series to correct common misconceptions found in religion. Oftentimes, these misconceptions can be harmful. Today's topic was Jesus Jewish? Now, this one is very controversial. A lot of people don't think that he was a Jew. In Genesis, all of the races were created on the same day, except if you read it carefully, after the Sabbath, after the day of rest, it then lists the creation of Adam and then Eve. They were made separately to tend the Garden of Eden. From Adam to Noah, to Abraham, to Moses, the Bible describes the unbroken bloodline. Jacob had 12 sons, and each became the head of one of the 12 tribes of Israel. If you want to know more about the 12 tribes of Israel, there's an excellent documentary called Quest for the Lost Tribes, which documents the attempt to find the missing tribes of Israel. I'll list the title of that documentary in the description in case you want to find it. Offsprings of two of these tribes, the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Levi, were the parents of Mary, the mother of Yeshua, Jesus. It's very clear that Mary was a descendant of the Hebrew line. Therefore, Jesus is primarily Jewish, plus whatever DNA his father contributed. If Yeshua wasn't Jewish, how do you think he got into the temple in Jerusalem when he was a kid and later as an adult? They don't just let anybody into the temple. It's a holy place. Why would young Yeshua bother debating the Torah with the rabbis if he wasn't Jewish? If he wasn't Jewish, the rabbis would have kicked the kid out. They wouldn't have bothered talking to him. They talked to him because it was unusual for somebody of that age to know so much about the Torah. If he wasn't Jewish, the rabbis would not have listened to him and would not have been amazed by him. And then there are all of the passages where Jesus was called rabbi. This word is not a different word translated into the word rabbi. It is literally the word rabbi, the same word used for rabbi in every part of the New Testament, whether it's used to refer to Yeshua or it's even used to refer to John. Some say, well, they were just calling him teacher, which happens to be the literal definition of the word rabbi. That idea falls apart when you read John 3. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Jesus, Yeshua, by night, and said unto him, Rabbi, we know thou art a teacher come from God, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except God be with him. Here we have the word rabbi and the word teacher, didaskalos in the Greek, used by Nicodemus. They are two different words. If he was just calling him teacher, he would have used the same word both times. Now, why would Yeshua have had a supper at the beginning of Passover the Last Supper if he wasn't Jewish? There would be no reason for him to have that particular feast at that particular time. Why would he have been called King of the Jews by Pontius Pilate if he wasn't Jewish? Why would that sign saying King of the Jews be attached to the cross when he was crucified if he wasn't Jewish? The reason he had to be laid to rest so quickly after the crucifixion was because of the Sabbath. He had to be laid to rest before sundown because that's when the Sabbath began. How could all of his family be Jewish, needing to bury him before the Sabbath, but Yahshua was not? He was clearly Jewish. The only people who do not believe that he was Jewish are anti-Semites who identify as Christian, or people who are taught the same thing by those same racists. They can't hate Jews and still love Yahshua if Yahshua is a Jew. So they try to obscure the truth, primarily by burying their heads in the sand, since not one passage of the Bible can be twisted to support this belief. On the contrary, everything points to him being Jewish. They want to believe that the Jews killed Yahshua as extra support for their hate, for their racism. They don't seem to realize just who the Pharisees and the Sadducees were. They were traditionally elected leaders of the Jewish community, just like Nicodemus from the previously read passage. Under Roman conquest, the Pharisees and Sadducees were appointed by Rome from Jewish subjects known to be loyal to Rome. These Roman appointees had political power and riches far above the average Jewish person. If they could not control the public, they could be replaced and lose everything. Anyone that drew a following, as Yahshua did, directly threatened the position of these appointed officials. This is why they continuously tried to trip up Jesus, Yahshua, and get him to say or do something against Jewish or Roman law. If they could get him to break Jewish law, they probably believed he would lose some of his followers, if not all of them. When that failed, they needed him to break Roman law to give them something to charge him with, some crime they could use to get rid of this rebel. And they succeeded. It wasn't the Jews against Yahshua. It was the corrupt, evil men trying to get rid of a threat to their power. I think Pontius Pilate knew their charges were questionable, and that's why he tried to release Yahshua. Unfortunately, the murderer Barabbas that was released instead was in fact a freedom fighter that openly fought against Roman occupation. He was far more popular than a humble Jewish teacher was, at least at the time. These corrupt men got their way, and Yahshua was tortured and then crucified. They had no way to know that their actions would be the beginning of a religion that would endure for more than 2 millennia, all the way to modern times, and it will probably last far into the future. Well, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked or disliked it, click the appropriate button, leave a comment or question below. Who knows, your question may even be the subject of a future video. Be good to each other. We're all in this together.